Hey, how's it going, everybody?
He's naked. He loves eating fudge.
Woo! My name's Jay. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and I know everything about aliens because I am one.
See, I knew it. That's why we had him on here.
Yeah.
He's not really an alien. He's a demon. So I appreciate you guys coming on. My name's Vito D'Amico. You know what I saw on one of these documentaries? We'll get to him in a second, but I saw, what's his name? Glenn Campbell? What's his name? Campbell? He looks like he eats Campbell's, he doesn't eat Campbell's soup. A fucking fat whale of a man. Campbell. You know what I'm talking about?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Anyways, his jowls couldn't fit into the screen. So he's in one of these documentaries, and he believes that aliens are really demons, which that's what I found fascinating about these things, because when I do watch, I keep saying Joe Jay, but I'm just going to call him Jay. When Jay knows me from a ghost show that I used to do, and I was always fascinated by that whole genre. And but I'd never heard. But see, when you do a little research on it, there are people that believe that if they do talk to spirits, they're really demons. That you're talking to a demon. There's no such thing as if you're talking to a loved one that has passed on, which I believe is bullshit. If you think you're talking to a loved one, you're actually talking to a demon. That's what this show is all about. But it goes beyond that. It says it's not a demon, it's actually an alien. Because in the 1920s or the 1930s, people believed that, the moon had Martians and blah, blah, blah. And then since we've gone to the moon, now it's moved to Orion and places that we can't possibly visit. So they're saying that aliens are actually demons. There's no such thing as I'm sorry. Demons are actually aliens. So I know that, or angels. So it's a pretty, well, let's play a little bit of it and you could see what I mean.
Yeah, it's a bit nuts.
It's kind of creepy, though, if you think about it. I mean, when I watched it, it was very creepy.
And begin. Can you guys hear this?
No, I can't even see it. No, don't see anything.
Hold on. Let me do that.
I could mime it.
Let me share my screen. Application window.
Hi guys, we're new to the internet and we're gonna learn how to do this today.
We're just complete morons when it comes to this shit. Screen sharing. Can you see it?
Nope, nothing. Zero. And if we do see it, let's just fuck with him some more and just say, no, we don't see it. Just so he loses it and just throws his computer. Just go, I just blew $4,000 on this piece of shit.
Yeah, I know it's not a piece of shit, but I'll be damned.
No, you got a nice computer there.
I do. I know I do.
Okay. There it is.
There
Whatever
it is.
that was, whoa.
It's everything.
You're gonna have to present yourself.
And that means like
Vito's gonna have to present me.
Well, yeah, whoever's in charge of the hangout.
Vito, what do I do?
You click the little arrow next to me and say present to everyone. Well, no, actually, he just white box me. Everybody just click on me. This isn't your normal hangout, Red.
Okay, so I white boxed you.
Everybody just click on me so they can see it.
Yep.
And it's gonna be this box here. Everything else is running the stream. Fun times.
Can that be a little bigger? And that's what she said.
No, it can't.
Look, it's Reagan.
Everyone's favorite alien.
Can you hear it?
Can't hear
Nope.
fuck all. No.
That sucks.
Oh
See
God,
if it's
this
coming
was like
through the stream. Everything else is sometimes.
I heard a car go by, but
Who's on cam?
Reagan again. A lot of Reagan in this video.
Can you hear it?
No, nothing. Well, if we can't get it to work, then that's fine. All that work we did earlier. But I'll tell you right now, I'll be like Joe Flaherty from SCTV. Like, ooh, it was scary, scary. That guy gave me the creeps.
It says you should be educated on Illuminati Freemasons.
Alright, so what do you... The chances
It's
of getting...
coming through the live stream, it's just not coming through the Hangout.
Huh.
And this is the very problem we had before, which is why we went through all this damn trouble.
Fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, oh Jesus Christ, what is that?
That's the gray.
That's not gray, that's a demon.
I thought that was Sean King.
That's actually, that is Sean, that's funny.
So they can hear it, but we can't. The only person that's going to hear this is me.
Yeah, you would need a way to pipe your audio back through Hangouts. I never did know how people managed to do that.
I don't know how they do it either, because I've been struggling, but I know how to do it in OBS because it's going through the stream now. Like if you go to Vito's channel, you can hear it.
Huh.
Yeah, this is a lot of trouble for nothing. I'm gonna have to talk to Steve about this because we're gonna have to reschedule some Vito because this is way too much trouble for something that should be dead simple.
Yeah, don't
I
worry
think
about it.
I
We'll just...
remember YouTube Saints using something like My Circle or something like that. They would often reference when they would want other people in their Hangout to open a video and watch it with them.
Your father is not.
My whole thing is I did it on my work Macintosh before I even built this computer, and you could Google how to do it on a Macintosh, and they tell you what software to download and everything. But God forbid you say how to pipe my audio through Google Hangouts on Windows machine. No.
Play it again for a sec. Just can you play it? No. I thought it played it for a second.
No, he's
Sorry,
definitely
I muted
talking.
you. Sorry, I thought it was...
He's definitely talking, so...
Fuck's sakes. I gotta unmute you. Sorry. Unmute.
Is it maybe it's something
No, I
can
fucking
maybe it's
muted
something
him.
I can do with
Beautiful.
fucking Hangouts.
Wonderful. Dave, can you unmute yourself? Or do I have to do that?
Oh, the little icon. Oh, it's
You muted Dave again. Every time he tries, I press the fucking button. Let me try and
There we
unmute
go.
him.
Can you hear it now?
I can hear you, but not.
I just hear you.
Ugh.
Alright, well, fuck it. It's not gonna work. So, anyways, we could still discuss about it. So, because the video pretty much...
Yeah, I'm just gonna...
just give up on it, trust me. It's not gonna happen.
And it looks like crap on what we're talking about anyway. So... I will
Yeah.
stop sharing.
right. So what the video was? So just get your opinion from it. What did you? All right. So picture this. All he talked about was how over the years we've been fooled to believe that aliens and even celebrities when they use the symbol 666 all the time, or there's a triangle on the back of Madonna's jacket, which I don't believe that at all. I think celebrities are the last people that would believe in any of that shit because they're too stupid, you know. I mean, they would tell everybody, they're like, I sold my soul to the devil, you know. I can't see that, but in this show it talked about how one guy was brought to a house where it was all, you know, of course it was lawyers and saying, and it's funny, as soon as I said that, a picture from him just fell right on. Alright, so anyways, he went to a house and there were lawyers and doctors and very powerful people there, and there was nothing scary about them. He said it was just a gathering of believing into Satan. And Satan, I mean, you know, aliens are really, there's no such thing as aliens, which I believe more in aliens than I do in Satan, because of just the size of the universe. There's got to be life out there. So, and then there was stuff like if you want something, you would need to ask for it, and then you would, you know, the guy would say to you, he would just say to you, okay, well, it's granted, you know, it's granted for you. Now, in the video, I can't remember if there was any mention of selling your soul, but who laughed?
I did.
That's serious stuff, Red. I mean, you're selling your soul, but
I know, man, your soul, man. What would James Brown do?
so what the fuck was I saying?
I'm sorry.
Whatever it wasn't good, because yeah, it was sell your soul, and just say you want money, right? So if you want money, what would happen is you would go to, a couple days later, these guys would talk about, they would be in a trance in bed, and all of a sudden winning horses would, you know, the numbers of the winning horses, and it would show videos of like Chris Angel at a speedway, and he was showing him talking, you know, like saying, in a box there are 3 winning cars tonight, and he picks the 3 winning cars. And what happens is to these guys, I'm just trying to remember, if somebody died in your family, you would be fooled to believe, like, just say a brother had passed, or a loved one had passed. The devil would make you think that it's actually your brother or your loved one, when actually it really is a devil. It's actually a demon doing this, that's giving you, you know, winning numbers or helping you in life, and they were showing magicians doing magic tricks, and I'm thinking, this is just magic tricks, but like parting, like they were showing Moses parting the Red Sea, and then they would show this little, I don't know, can you say Oriental? Is that racist?
Yeah, I don't think that's racist.
Okay, so it showed this little Oriental guy. He's moving. He's splitting the coffee in half, like the water in the coffee in half. And I just thought, are you fucking stupid or something? You're talking about Moses who moved a fucking lake, and this little Oriental guy is moving a saucer with water. And it's, you know. Anyway, so they were saying that whatever you want, pretty much, if you give yourself to Satan, you'll get these things, and aliens are not. There's no such thing as aliens. It's all really just demons, and angels are demons too. That's what this show was about. So it was very, like, I like documentaries like that because they're, I don't know, I just find them entertaining just because people really do believe this stuff. Like, I couldn't see anybody that was being not unsincere about it. Like, they were being very, you know, they were like, yeah, this is what happened to me. They were telling these really freaky stories. So, anyways, that's. So, what do you guys? What are your thoughts?
I find it interesting that people believe in anything supernatural. I mean, one of the most commonly accepted things seems to be psychics, because they seem to make a decent amount of money selling nonsense to people, even though they have never once in their lifetime read the headline, "Psychic wins lottery again."
Yeah.
That doesn't happen, yet they think, oh, well, they must be psychic. Look how successful they are.
But they'll say stuff like, it doesn't work that way. And I'm always like,
right.
I'm always like, well, then how the fuck does it work?
Exactly.
Because I'm like, I really, see, to me, psychics have always been bullshit artists. So, I've never, you know, anytime I've met a psychic, they'll always have like a free reading, and, you know, it'll always be, they always want to tell you something important, something that is nice, right? You know, like your loved
it's always something that appeals to your emotions, though. It's never something practical or useful, like, here's what's wrong with your car.
Right. Or they'll put fear. And by fear, meaning that in the next session, it'll cost a little bit of money, but I will help you get rid of this demon that's following your family. And there's one guy who was really, really smart. He ended up blowing, oh God, it was like over $1 million. He was a smart guy, but he believed that he was cursed. And this gypsy was pretty much, you know, saying, you know, this is going to cost $50,000 to have your house cleansed, and you need it cleansed every month. So this guy was just, you know, he was panicking. He got a divorce from his wife. So they feed off of the wounded, you know, the ones that need help, you know.
Right.
So that's what I find disgusting about them. You know, I think they are the biggest fucking lowlifes on the planet. Are people that use you for fear. You know, they put the fear. You know, somebody close to you is going to die, or, you know, one girl I knew, she went to go see Caputo, the little fat, what's her name? That little, remember Teresa Caputo?
No.
You never heard of Teresa Caputo? She's the one she's a psychic. She's been on, I don't know, TV shows or whatever. Anyways, all these girls on Facebook, I got into an argument with them because they were like, they believed her. They were like, yeah, we went and saw her, and oh, it was amazing what she was saying to us, and it was so true. And I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? You actually, I go, what did she say? Oh, that my dad loves me, he passed away. And I'm like, well, of course he's gonna, well, did your dad hate your fucking guts?
Yeah, you know what would be awesome is if one of these psychics would say, Well, you don't remember because you have suppressed this, but I'm talking to your dad now, and apparently he molested you when you were 3. You have no recollection of this.
Well, I think that's what happened to Roseanne Barr, because she believes that she was molested as a child. And I think her dad is still alive saying, I never touched the fat bitch. You know, it's like, oh, she believes she was molested in the womb. You know, it was like really weird. And she went to a psychic. So psychics can do damaging things to your family. And I think that, you know, they don't care. They're like, you know, their whole thing is, hey, that's your problem. I'm here to make a buck. I care less if you know, if you believe it or not, who cares? You know,
I think there's kind of like your low-end psychic, you know, run-of-the-mill kind of people, and they're looking for a resolution of some unanswered question that they can't attain because either somebody's dead or they just something that they're searching for, and they hook up with these people, and these people know basically they've read so many people that they just know how to tell them whatever it is they want and get their money and get them out. And I have seen some documentaries where down in the States, the police were working on some kind of a murder case and they were just getting nowhere. And there was a lady that was supposedly like dead on with, I don't know if it was dreams or visions or whatever, but she assisted them in locating like a dead body. And I thought that was kind of impressive. So, I don't know, I would say just like everything else, you got your low-end mix mash, run-of-the-mill, just steal people's money, feed off their, you know, and here you go, yeah, Dad's dead, he said, give you a high five, make sure you tip.
Yeah, but I don't even believe that like what you just said about the that other psychic that found that kid. I mean, they always sit there and go, they're close to water, they're close to, so they find the kid near a lake, and all of a sudden the guy's right. I mean,
yeah, how many times have they tried?
No, yeah, I can't remember. Like, that's if the documentary was even true. It was something that was something far more specific. I don't remember all the details. I just remember thinking to myself, wow, there might actually be, you know, the odd one out there that's.
No, I don't. No one has the power of talking to. There's no such thing. I don't believe that at all.
Have you ever heard of the military using?
Yeah. Those fucking. I wish I had that job. You know, that'd be awesome. Where you sit in a fucking room like an idiot and just go, yeah. There. Here's what's this? What are you drawing? And I'd be using crayons and sticking out my tongue and saying, I'm writing my name. Hold on, how much is this? Well, you know, like what's this? Oh, I'm drawing a plane. It's by a plane. Oh wow! And then he goes and talks to the general. Oh, Jesus, it's the Soviets. It's got to be the Trump bots. It's got to be something going on here. So I talked to Ben. What's his name? Ben. I've had him on the show a few times, and he debunks. He's written several books on it. Ben fucking. Oh God, I can't believe I forgot his name. Anyways, Benjamin. Benjamin, and also I've talked to Warren Zevon, who he was on a show in Australia where him and a psychic went at it, and there is that $1 million $1 million prize, the James Randi prize, where if you could show any psychic abilities, you can win $1 million. And I'm thinking, if you're a psychic, you want to make $1 million. Who does not want to make $1 million? If they sit there and go, I don't really need the money. Well, there's kids out there that do. Why don't you do it for the kids, you lying little piece of shit? So, anyways, what happened was Benjamin Radford, that's it, Benjamin Radford, look him up too. And I've talked to him a few times, and he studied them, and he sees the damage that these psychics can do. And what happened in one of the what happened was is the kids went missing, and the cops and the psychic showed up and said, you need to look here, you need to look there, and you need to look. And what the cops neglected to do was to look 50 feet near you need to look 50 feet to the car, because the kids died. The kids got stuck in the parents' trunk of the car, and they suffocated to death while everybody was looking around. So I don't know. David, what did you want me to do?
Oh, yeah, you're still presenting me, so people can't actually see the icon of who's talking.
Oh, sorry. All right. So what do you?
Just like the little white box where it says present to everyone, uncheck that, basically. On my little icon thing at the bottom.
Okay, so yeah, I did that. All right. Okay, so
it still says I'm presenting to everyone.
Shit. Hide participants? No. What?
No, it's actually. You know how you would go to eject me?
Yeah.
It's in that same menu.
Okay.
One of them says
stop presenting.
There we go.
Okay. There you go. All right. So yeah, so Radford just showed that what happened was that these poor kids suffocated while the cops and parents are freaking out, looking around, when this psychic is sitting there going, they're out in a field somewhere, in a ditch somewhere, and meanwhile they were fucking 20, 50 feet away from the house. These poor kids suffocated. So psychics are pieces of shit, and I don't believe any of them. I think they were all fucking maggots.
I agree. I don't believe any of that stuff at all.
No, and so what? So out of 100, you get one right. Big deal. But it's the one they always get that everybody talks about. It's like, oh, did you see that? And it's like anybody could fucking get that.
It's not so different from a cold reading. People seem to remember the hits and forget the misses. So everything that they got wrong, no one's too worried about that. Any little thing they get right, oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That's like John Edward doing the cold readings, crossing over with John Edward. I hate that prick so much.
Well, yeah, and they all make a fortune.
Yeah.
All these guys make. Remember he had the show?
Yeah.
Crossing over.
Yeah, and it was a horrible fucking show.
I know.
He would make people cry, and remember that evil fucking bitch, that Brown, that disgusting fucking whale of a woman. She would her Kathy Brown, or what was her name? Sylvia Brown.
Sylvia Brown. No, I'm unfamiliar.
Sylvia, what was her name? Sylvia. Was it Sylvia Brown? It was Sylvia Brown. She was just this fucking fat whale that she would charge like, $30, $40 a minute to talk to her on the phone, and she was 6 months in advance to talk to her on the phone, and then what Randy said was, tape yourself when you talk to these nut fucking cases, and then listen to what they have to say, and then you got to ask yourself, do you still believe in the horse shit they're selling you? And everybody that taped themselves all said the same thing. Said, no, she was full of shit. I mean, all it was she sounded like a fucking beached whale. She was like, hi, how are you? I'm Sylvia Brown, and just letting you know. And she used to be on Montel all the time. She told a family that their child had died. Meanwhile, the child did not die. So you see this family, if you watch it on YouTube, it's pretty disgusting. And you see this family you can imagine being, having children and being told that, your child's dead, from a so-called expert. They're dead. They drowned. They died. So this fucking family, she put them through hell, turned out the kid didn't. They ended up a couple weeks later finding this kid, thank goodness. And the evil witch still went on to make fucking millions upon millions of dollars off of people's. You know what it is? It's called "We All Want to Believe." We all want good news, right? We all want to believe something supernatural, and I think that's why I wanted to see this show, just to see what it had to say. We all want to believe that there's something out there, instead of so far where there's been absolutely no evidence of really anything out there. I mean, when they did that, I mean, every week they're doing that Noah's Ark fucking joke. Every week somebody's going there going, holy shit, they're showing dinosaurs and Kent Ham. I mean, I wish I had his chutzpah of how to make money, because that guy, I don't know, to go to another country and to fish them into making not one but two. He owns a creationist museum, and he also owns Noah's Ark. Holy shit, the money that guy must be fucking... Well, it's not making any money, but the money this idiot must be making is just sickening.
Yeah, didn't they actually have to use modern equipment to build the Ark?
Yeah, well then, what's really weird too? If you ever get a chance, and we should do a video about it, it's this guy it's called Ancient Aliens Debunked.
Nice.
And it's really, the guy did an awesome video, and it's 3 hours long, but it turns out he's an I can't even say it,
evangelical Christian?
That's it, he's one of those. And he doesn't believe in aliens building the pyramids, but he believes that fucking Noah built the Ark.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, people don't believe that steel or metals weren't used. And I'm like, dude, you're smart. His name's David. What the fuck's his name? Anyways, I'm like, David, if you ever seen the size of the Ark, they've had guys like like guys that have built ships their whole lives that have tried to build the biggest ship in the world, and it literally broke in half. Even if you built that thing with a bit of steel or metal, or I mean, Noah's time, what was it, the Bronze Age?
It might even be pre-Bronze Age.
Right, so the metal they used was what, fucking aluminum that you got under your cupboard? So you use that, and that kept away water for fucking, the birds are shitting, put the aluminum underneath the dinosaurs taking a dump. That should save us. But yeah,
I would imagine it would have been something like zinc. They definitely weren't using aluminum back then.
Yeah, well, whatever. It was like, it showed, and even Bill Nye was showing that these guys, what was it, 20 years ago, built a monster ship out of wood, and it broke in half, killing all 12 crew members. And these were all like professional shipbuilders.
Right.
This wasn't Noah, and what do you have? Eight or nine brothers and sisters. I can't remember, but
I think he was one of 8 on the Ark, but that did include some women, so it would have been even less than that for help. So maybe
yeah,
4
like
guys.
I can't even clean my rabbit's cage without puking, And it's like you're telling me a fucking elephant. Have you ever gone to the zoo? And joking aside, have you ever seen an elephant take a shit?
I just like to ask people, what did they eat? I mean, supposedly the Ark had literally the entire world's food chain. 2 of every animal. That means everything that eats everything else. So what did the lions eat, since they couldn't eat the gazelle for 250 days?
He said, what did he say? He said something that you just want to slap the goatee off his face. He said lions did not eat meat. And I
Which is
thought,
hilarious. They need a high protein diet. They will
well,
die.
that's why they call them fucking lions, right?
They're obligate carnivores, for fuck's sake.
So you're saying like, so in other words, if nothing ate, if nothing ate meat, right, then you would have no problem putting lions in with the lambs.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I mean, you wouldn't need to build any cages.
That's true.
You just throw everything in there. Like, who cares? Just tell everybody there's a hole. There's going to be a huge line for using it to go to the bathroom, because to shovel your guy's shit is going to be a mess.
My understanding is that Ken Ham actually, after building the Ark and then realizing how few animals they could actually fit, he then became a proponent of at least adaptation. Because then it made their job easier. They didn't need all of the descendants and all of the relatives of the horse. They needed the
kinds.
I forget what they called.
You call them
right,
the kinds.
Exactly.
You don't
but
need...
prior to building the Ark, did they actually believe that? Because it seems that came after.
Well, they said when they built the Ark, because this smart guy, and he's a really smart guy, and it threw me off. His name's David. What's his name? Anyways, it's called Debunking Ancient Aliens, and it's 3 hours, but he also has other videos on there. And I wanted to get him as a guest, but he hasn't made a video in 3 years. So it's kind of like, I don't know, he must have just given up on it or whatever, but he, I hope he didn't, because he's a really talented guy. But he said that Noah would hire people, which to me would be pure evil. Because if I hired you, Red, and I said, listen, you got to help me build this boat. And you're like, well, what's it for? And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it, pal. Just do me a favor. Just do me a favor. You just got to build it for me. And you're like, but you gotta tell me why. And I'm like, no, just fucking build it. Just come on.
The story was that Noah did warn everybody, but no one believed him. Right? It was kind of like...
Go figure.
Yeah.
Nobody believed him. Oh. I would believe him, but just like when like the guy's drunk and you're like, yeah, it's like, it's gonna rain for 40 days. It'd be like, yeah. Noah, would you put the fucking wine down for 5 minutes? It just, we got to get all the animals. It's like, Noah, just stop it. Like you're embarrassing everyone in the village.
Isn't there a Chinese dynasty that's like 7,500 years old, or goes back to 7,500 BCE?
Well, there has been floods all throughout the world, but there's never been a global flood, right?
Well, that's what I was getting at. I mean, so according to the biblical story, if you do believe that literally, then you have to believe that there was a Chinese culture that existed pre-flood, and then everybody died, and then just through a series of incest generations, more Chinese people popped up and went right back to the dynasties that they had. I mean...
Yeah, so that was very... Yeah, and it's the same thing, and I know it's a very and I know we're jumping from topic to topic, but that's because our video can fucking play.
Yeah.
So
well, it's all within the realm of supernatural, and if you're going to use supernatural to feed the animals, then why not just say, well, God used magic and he teleported all of the animals to the ship. In fact, it was an invisible ship that was invincible, and nobody could see it, and nothing could hurt it, and it didn't weigh anything,
Think about a ship being at sea during a storm, right? Okay, now think about how everything would have to be airlocked, meaning so water couldn't get in, and if it rained, the water would get they only had one window, so the pneumonia, the smell of feces would kill you. It would kill you. The smell of just it would kill. And to me, it's like, well, what was the whole point if God wanted to get rid of man for being bad, why not just get rid of them? It's the same thing with the aliens. Like when they sit there and they say, aliens come down, they shove a fucking prune up my ass, and then they kind of make fun of me and they giggle in the other room, and then they do all these horrible things to me, and then they gently put me back into bed. Now, if you talk to anybody that is a scientist, if they need to grab a specimen, be it a butterfly or even a large mammal, they would just take one. They would just take it, right? And if these aliens are so smart, and if God was, if he wanted to get rid of everybody, why don't he just kill everybody? I mean, if an alien
just snap his fingers and make everybody vanish instantly.
Yeah, like what do we need the story for?
And more importantly, where did the water come from? I mean, we have a hydrological cycle, so there's a finite amount of water on Earth.
But it's all magic, right? It's all.
Of course.
You have to believe that. You got to believe, the whole, did Jonah live in a whale's stomach?
We've all heard the craziness of where the water went, though, right, Red?
No.
Lunar Bukkake?
That's brilliant.
Oh, I don't know what that is. What is that?
Well, I mean, the idea is that all the craters on the moon were caused by the rapid evacuation, for lack of a better term, expansion, leaving of the water that was on the Earth from the flood into space in the general direction of the moon.
I've never heard that before. I've never heard.
That's nuts.
I'm surprised, from the flat Earth, anti-flat earther you are, that you have not heard that.
But you know what's fucked up? Like with all the science and everything, like that's why I love watching Bigfoot documentaries and I love watching these documentaries. But what I don't get are flat earthers that, how the fuck do you believe that the planet's flat? I mean, Christopher Columbus would slap the shit out of you.
And he was stupid.
I mean, they would say that Christopher Columbus simply set sail east or west, and he just went around in a circle.
Well,
so it's all about perspective. They have a very unique way of looking at the world where they'll look at the sun setting below the horizon, but in their brain, because of what they've learned from YouTube videos, that's just the sun disappearing due to convergence.
No,
I mean,
Red, that's called. Remember, see, a buddy of mine told me he used to have the best acid in the world, and he would say to me all the time, he'd go, "Vito, you're just gonna take 2 hits. That's the most you're doing tonight." And I go, "Well, why are we only doing 2? Because when you do 2, it's fucking amazing." He goes, "Because you don't remember, because when you did fucking 8, you jumped off. I was at a concert and I jumped off it was like 20 stories. I jumped off. I could have fucking killed somebody, but I didn't feel a thing because I was on acid. And it was during an Iron Maiden concert, and it was like, I don't remember any of this stuff, and I thought they were lying to me for the longest time. They didn't bring me home. They called my parents. They told me that he's staying over at a friend's house, and my mom was a little worried, and I don't remember any of this stuff. But I was wrecked for 2 days.
And LSD is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, and they're like, dude, that's why and that's why after they told me that, I was like, yeah, I'm never, I'm not going to do that again. And it was like, yeah, man, it was scary. It was like seeing you look possessed. You didn't look like yourself. You look. It was scary. So
some of these flat earthers definitely are into heavy drug use, but a lot of them are not. and it's just they have a very childlike understanding of reality. So,
Well, I felt bad. Red talked to the other Red, um, the guy who supposedly is very tall. Uh, the guy who studies rocket ships, and he's
oh, Red's rhetoric.
yes, yeah, yeah, very very smart guy. And he had a hangout, and I got to be on it. We talked to a guy that you could tell that he did a lot of drugs, and it we all laughed, and he kind of started to cry a little bit, and I felt horrible, and I told him, What's with the echo,
Not on my end.
It's Joe.
What?
Joe? You're echoing.
I don't have anything going on.
Go to your band. Okay, I'm gonna mute. Okay, so Joe, go to your band, and there on the top you'll see adjust bandwidth. So go to your bandwidth and don't go to the very bottom one. Go to the second one to it. So when it says limit bandwidth, that's what you'll see. Okay? I'm going to bring you back, see if you did it. Okay, let me see. How do I bring them back here? How do I bring them back here? And then
It's the same thing you used to put them away.
I didn't put them away though.
Is it any better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It's your speakers. Your speakers are bleeding back into your mic.
Oh, let me look this up, and I think that will get rid of it.
Okay, you do that. Mute yourself for the time being, because I got a romantic story where I'm riding a horse naked.
How's that?
Oh, it's great. Okay, so, anyways, the guy started crying a little bit. He's like, I don't, he's like, I felt horrible. And it was like, you could tell he did a lot of drugs. And I just, like, Red was so kind to the guy and said, listen, you give me your address and I'll send you a telescope. I'll buy you a telescope. Now, I don't know if Red did or not, but this guy was like, and all this guy needed was a bit of caring and loving. You don't need to be a fucking asshole to people. You don't need to be, be made fun of. I mean, I talked to Arcane Locos one time, and he thought I was going to be a jerk off to him, and I wasn't. But they have their backs up because they think they're going to be made fun of. And he's a bad example because I don't think he's done drugs, or he should do drugs, because then maybe it would help him. But the other guy, I remember Red saying, listen, the planet is not flat. And he's like, I appreciate you guys talking to me. And we stopped making fun of him. We stopped, he was the brunt of the jokes for a good 45 minutes. And it was the wrong way to go about it. And I felt horrible. Like I love making fun of idiots like fucking that fucking fat pig Glenn Campbell, who's supposed to buy me, what's his name, Campbell? He's supposed to buy me a ticket to go fight him in Puerto Rico. He never bought me a ticket. So when you buy me your ticket, you fat fuck, I'll be over there and I'm gonna beat your fucking teeth in. So no, I'm not kidding, man. I'm gonna smash his fucking fat face in.
Yeah.
So anyways, the point being, the poor guy, you felt horrible for him because he's taken too much drugs and it's fried him. And there are people that have not taken drugs, and those are the ones that worry me, are the ones that do not take drugs but believe that the planet is flat. And you ask yourself, you sit there and say, but this is 2018. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, I never heard of, like, no one said to me, Vito, the planet is flat. Like, nobody ever said that to me at school. Like, we were never taught. Like, I've never heard that from somebody. You know what I mean?
Well, that's part of the problem with the internet. You know, for all of its good, it does allow the retards of the world to get together and spew their nonsense
No,
publicly.
they're not retard. That's a horrible word.
No, some of these people genuinely are, like Eric Dubay,
mentally challenged.
Jaronism. No, these
Mentally,
people are not mentally challenged. They're mentally there. Well, at least they seem to be. They just have this desire to convince other people. It's like gaslighting. They're trying to make people
Yeah.
question their own sanity.
You know who's retarded? Glenn Campbell, that fat fucking piece of fucking. Anyways, that little. Just thinking about him makes me want to beat the fuck out of him. All right, so no, you're right. It's just very weird. And somebody said to me, the problem is with the internet, all the slime and shit will come out. I remember when they made fun of that kid. Remember when that poor kid? You had adults. I did a video about that poor kid. Remember that I mean, his father was a white supremacist, and
Oh yeah, the one whose mom recorded him in the car crying about a bully at school.
yeah, and I'm like, he's a kid, for fuck's sakes. Just let him be a kid, like, you know. And then it turned into, you know, oh, by the way, he said the N-word, but there was no proof of that. It was just there were people grown ass men making videos of this kid crying, making videos of this kid, and I'm like, how old are you? Like he's a fucking little kid. If I pick on anybody, I always make sure that first I could beat them up. Second, that they're old enough that, you know, you're not picking on a kid or a woman, or it's a man. So I always make sure, unless you're, you know, some fucking nut job feminist who, you know, I don't know, who's just, you know, then I won't punch you, but I'll make fun of you. Like, but um, uh, watch, there'll be some feminists going, "Did you hear that? You gonna punch me in my cunt? Like, he's gonna punch me right in my smelly cunt because it smells and nobody likes me." So, what is it, Joe? What happened now?
I can throw out a weird story that maybe you guys have never heard regarding the Moses thing.
Sure. I forgot. J. Joe was actually on the Ark.
Yeah.
J. Joe was on the Ark.
Yeah, J. Joe was on the Ark.
That's a song.
I know this may seem like a bizarre story, but you guys have heard of the Anunnaki?
What?
The Anunnaki? You ever heard of them?
Oh, a tribe, the Anunnaki.
It was the whole Zachariah Sitchin. Sitchin was talking about how in his books and his theory of how man came to be on this planet, that at some point a race called the Anunnaki came to this planet. They were having a failing atmosphere on their planet, which was not that far from where we are. And they came here and started using their own people, their own race, to start mining gold off of planet Earth in an attempt to
Sounds like part of Ancient Aliens.
Yeah.
And then
I think I heard this one.
Yeah, that is from Ancient. You saw that on Ancient Aliens.
I'm just telling you what the basic story is, and that they're bringing this gold back to their planet to try and fix their atmosphere. But when they came here, they had like kind of like a military like kind of a guy, and they had more of a scientific kind of guy. And the scientific guy was put in charge after their own people just got sick of mining over the years. They decided that they were going to make a slave species out of an indigenous creature on this planet, call it something close to an ape. So the scientist, brother of these two alien gods, so to speak, turns around and goes into the lab and basically starts figuring out a way to cross the DNA between their DNA and just I don't know which type of ape-like species. But in the end, that's the whole story.
I think I know what it is. It's called a Campbell.
Yeah, it's called. Anyway, I'm just getting to the Moses
I was gonna
part.
say, it sounds like the Book of Mormon, or maybe Scientology.
Yeah, but it gets the interesting
Yeah.
and weird part was it got to the point
It's
where
weird.
they heard, or they knew from, like, they have spacecraft and stuff, and they knew that a natural disaster was supposed to come to the planet, and at that point, I believe that things that like mankind had just got so out of hand that the military, as my brother, decided that he was just going to let this natural disaster come, and it was just going to kill everybody. They were all supposed to hang tight in their ships, and the scientist guy, because this was his creation, for some reason I can't remember the direct connection, but he had some big connection with Noah, and he secretly warned him that this devastating problem is going to be coming to Earth, and that you need to like take refuge. And then in that version of the story, it wasn't even about 2x2 animals. It was them collecting like DNA samples of whatever life they could, and then kept it preserved inside of the ark after this natural disaster came. So I've just thrown it out there. I know it sounds like completely bizarre or whatever, but it was
just as plausible as the actual story in the Bible.
I've never heard of that.
Well, it's just to put a different, I was like, wow, I was like, what if they actually, that would make way more sense if they actually just took DNA samples.
Where did you hear that?
It came out of Zachariah Sitchin was going into Sumerian tablets, and he was like one of the few people that was translating what the ancient Sumerian people were saying was going on this planet way back when. And they even have a one cylinder seal that already shows like all the planets in our solar system. So you got to remember, like, this is a culture that's like whatever it is, 5, 6, 7,000 years old, and yet they had, they already had right on their drawing like all of the planets and the sun in order, like on one of their seals. You can find images of it all over the internet if you type in Zachariah Sitchin and all this kind of stuff. So that was their take on the whole thing. And my other friend, who's more of he's a non-literalist. He believes that the whole Bible contains all fictional characters. None of these stories were based on anything on Earth, based on anything on this. There's not a geographical person that existed. They're all just mythological stories that have a lesson for everybody to learn. And he claims that I can't remember all the details, but basically every one of us is like a Noah, and when you start to go into a meditation, you have to raise the energy that's in your spine. And it's something about once you've been able to basically go in there and you think like the whole world is in meditation, you can go not crazy, but you think, all the shit in your life all comes crashing down on you, and you got to lock yourself into your art, which is like your brain, and survive it. And when you come out on the mountain, it just means you've overcome the storm of trying to pass this more of a spiritual, metaphysical journey. So those are two things that I've heard that I thought were kind of interesting. You've got one like alien-based hybrid theory where a natural disaster was coming, and these it's this race that first screwed around with man's DNA.
Well, I'll tell you, the one thing that would really give that first story a lot of credibility, but I suspect this has yet to happen, is if the word DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, if you could actually find that in Sumerian text, then you would definitely have something to point at and say, well, this actually makes some sense, because how could they have known about this at that time? But I doubt that word has been found.
Well, yeah, it'd be like if you went to, like, it'd be like if they had like some kind of instruction manual that was actually comprehensible by modern medicine, that made
Sure.
sense, that was like detailed on how they did it.
Yeah, blueprints for an early MRI scanner.
Something that would be like, okay, there's no way the people back then who were pissing in chamber pots knew how to do this shit.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's just all an interpretation.
Right.
I've never heard that. And I see, maybe it was from Ancient Aliens, but what happens is I watch it for 7 seconds and then I go, I can't stand that guy's hairdo, and I just change the channel.
That guy's hair is a mess, but anyway.
It's just, I don't know what the fuck is going on with that guy's lid. You know?
That's why he's a meme.
Yeah,
You know, but what all he does, he goes word for word, Van Daniken. So he goes word for word whatever Van Daniken says. So he's completely eaten the shit pie that Van Daniken. I mean, it was great in the 70s when that book came out, where people would go, "Oh, fuck, aliens built that," and you know, it's more believable back then because it was more, you know, I guess more acid.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was interesting that they're not like the great huge temples, but there's certain places they found these temple-like beings that are just smaller, and there's like a whole bunch of them, like in a rectangle almost. And they were saying that these were like basically landing pads where the ship would come in and dock and stuff.
They found something similar. If you watch the video, and guys, I know it's 3 hours long, but we'll do that the next discussion because we can't show the whole video. But if you watch the video, and it debunks everything from that, which Jay just said, but it also debunks the crystal skulls, how there also is a landing pad underneath Rome, like that they believe the Romans built. And Van Daniken said, and you know, the Greek guy with the hairdo, he said that, you know, they have one stone that is over 80 tons.
80,000.
80,000.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like there's no stone that big there, because a stone that big would be the size of my cock. All right, I mean, it's impossible. So the numbers, see, Van Daniken said all these things because he never thought nobody would check. You know, I mean, they had no idea how an obelisk was made,
right?
And they showed one that was abandoned because it was cracked in half, so they gave up on it. You know what I mean? So it showed how it was made. And then it showed how, like, if they had to build a ramp to go from, like, the top of the pyramid, it would take more stones to build the ramp than it would to make the pyramid. So they figured there is something in the pyramid called the staircase. The famous the hallway. It's a staircase. And what this French guy came up with years ago was that the pyramid was built from the inside out. So you would bring the stones, you would use the stones. The only way you could do it is, and it makes sense, and he showed how it could be done. The problem, well, it could be done by bringing the stones through the pyramid, because if you were to try to do it the other way, that was the big thing. It was like, yeah, aliens had to do it, or there must be some big secret or whatever. And it's like, there's no big secret. If the Egyptians, they could. The thing is, the Egyptian government are kind of assholes where they don't want others to know how it's made, because once you know the secret, how it's made, or there's other rooms. I mean, I'd be running around there with a stick of dynamite if they gave me a fucking, 15 minutes. I'd find every chamber, every fucking hole in that place. I guarantee you. And then they would be like, well, the pyramid's kind of lopsided. I'd be like, well, we're going to need some money to fix this shit. That's what's going to happen. But you know what? We found a chamber. It was full of gold. They purposely make sure that they don't want you to find these chambers because everybody loves a good mystery, right? There was one guy years ago, I remember in the 80s, he had one of the first, and right now it's laughable, but it was like a drone that had a wire, and it would go up, it looked like a little tank, and it would go, had a little camera, and it would go up, and it would show that there was probably another hidden room. So once this guy was done, the Egyptians immediately said, you need to leave. And he's never been allowed back. And it's like, guys, like, all you need to do is fucking get a hammer and smash this fucking wall down. And that's why you gotta love paleontologists that are like, it's gonna take at least 20 years to get this dinosaur out of the ground. And I'm like, dynamite, please. Trust me, you want this thing, you want this out by noon? You want this out of the ground? I can get it out of the ground. Where's that fucking forklift? Like it's all it is just to keep jobs that the grants to keep coming in, and the Egyptians don't want others to know how any of this is done, because once you know how it's done, there's no point. There is no mystery.
Well, in fairness to the archaeologists, a lot of times they're trying to preserve the sediment layers that skeletons or whatever's found in, because they can use that to date the object itself. Plus, They may find peripheral stuff around it.
Yeah, but I would just make that up. They would go, how old was that guy there? I go, 40,000 years old. They go, write that down, 40,000 years old. And that's it. Let's move on. He's dead. Like, fuck, oh, the wall was here for 5,000 years. Yeah, well, now it's gone. All right? So, they built it 5,000 years ago. We could rebuild it. So, let's fuck it up like Trump. Let's just demolish it, and if it doesn't work, we'll call it the Tangiers, and we'll turn it into a casino. Out in the desert, we'll have topless chicks. We'll have I'll make money for the government. I'll be the Kent Ham of Egypt. And you know what? In 2 weeks, I guarantee you, there'll be people yelling. All they'd be saying? It'd be like, let my people go. And I'd be like, no, let my people go. No, never. You're stuck here. I'd literally shave my head bald. I would have my slave as, what's his name? Campbell, that fucking fat pig, and slap him around in front of everybody as a joke. Just go, watch me beat the shit out of him. Watch this, guys, and just tackle him. Just go, where do you want me to fight him? In the Queen's chamber? King's chamber? We'll find a chamber. Get me my dynamite.
Can I ask you guys something off topic?
Sure.
Does it have to do with dynamite?
The police.
Oh, fuck.
I was driving today on the highway, and I just went from the slow lane into the fast because I was debating on going around this truck. So I just blinked over, and I look up in the rear view, and pulling up real quick on my ass is like an undercover cruiser, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, this dude's like right on my butt, and I'm doing 100, and I don't want to floor it and give it and go over 100, because I figure the moment I punch it to 120, he's gonna pull my ass over and give me a ticket. So
Actually, if you go over 100, you go directly to jail and lose your license.
That's felony speeding, dude.
Yeah.
That's probably a good decision.
You don't get a ticket for that.
So I locked it in at 100, and me and this transport truck, you know, I was just like ever so slowly like gaining speed on him to get to the point where I finally surpassed him. And then I like at the moment I was past the transport, I pulled over and got into the slow lane again. And he pulled me over, and he went like all psycho on me. Pulled his, you know, did his lights, and two cruisers like came on either side of me. One sat up on the road, and he came over, and he's like boom, 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 banging on my passenger side window. I open it. He opens the door, and he's just yelling at me about, you know, shine right on the registration, blah blah blah. He's like, do you realize you were doing like 98 in a, you know, 100 zone, and that there was like cars lined up behind you all the way back, and that, you know, you're beside a transport, and he's like, you could have caused a big accident. And I was like, I was just trying to keep the speed limit. He's like, rah, 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 rah. Have a nice day. And I was
Wait,
like,
Joe, are you in Canada?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about kilometers. Never mind.
Yeah.
David and I were thinking miles per hour.
Oh,
No,
Yeah, 100 miles per hour.
I wasn't going to say anything because I wanted you guys just to go in your head, go, holy fuck, that guy's nuts.
Well, he did say that the speed limit was 100, so obviously it's not miles per hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At one time, we used to have signs here that go 110. I'm sorry,
Right.
was it 110? Yeah, it was 110.
Yeah, it's about 70 miles an hour.
So, yeah, but Americans would come over and go, you could go 110 fucking miles an hour? This is the greatest country on the planet.
The Autobahn in the north.
Yeah, I wish we had an Autobahn, but that is fucked. You should have punched him right in the mouth.
Well, I was like, dude, you guys are so brutal. I'm like, if I gun it, and then you're like, you just went over 100, here's your ticket. And I'm like, I'm screwed. If I, you know, I was like, if I don't do this, then I'm screwed. And then he basically bitched me out and told me that I should have just gave her and got in front of the transport and let everybody go through.
Oh, fuck.
But I was like, if I did that, you know, would you two have just ticketed my ass?
No. I would have. Cops are, you know, some are good. But I always end up, some are really good and some are just are in the wrong occupation. I was driving to Mississauga, Jay. You know where on the way Mississauga is, right?
Yeah.
So it was a traffic jam. So no one's moving, right? So I had to take. Had my phone on, and it kept saying, you must make a U-turn because it wanted me to take the toll bridge, and I'm like, I've already passed that. And it kept saying, you must do a U-turn. You must do a U-turn. Do a U-turn. I'm like, you can't do a U-fucking turn. I'm on a highway. Plus, it's a traffic jam. So there's a cop like, not the car beside me, but behind him in a big SUV. And I see him. It's broad daylight. So I'm sitting there. Nobody is moving. So I get my phone. I turned it off. I didn't text anybody. I just turned off my phone. He fucking turns on his cherries, and I'm thinking, so what is this cock-sucking loser doing? He gets behind me. Because he gets behind me. And I'm like, well, so what? Like, we're not going anywhere. So what? He gets out of his car, license, registration. I'm like, well, so what's going on here? And he comes back with a fucking $400 ticket and a 2-point license. And I'm like, I go like this. My exact words were, cocksucker, why am I getting this? And he goes, excuse me? And I go, I just called you a cocksucker. Why am I getting this? And he said, I don't appreciate your tone. I go, I don't appreciate this fucking $400 ticket. The fuck are you giving me a ticket for? And he goes, you're texting while you're driving. And I go, I'm not driving. We're in a traffic jam. No one has moved. You're the only one that has moved. You've literally got out of your vehicle, walked over, and I'm in the middle of the road on a highway. We are going nowhere. We're having this conversation. I go, you're charging me $400 to turn off my phone. Well, you shouldn't be touching your phone. And I'm like, I mean, a lot of great men died 9/11. A lot. I mean, cops went in there, they died, but you lived through it. You made it. You fucking lived through it. You fucking parasite should have fucking died a horrible fucking death.
Dude,
I lost it. I fucking lost it. I go, you fucking are a piece of shit. You give cops a bad name.
Down in the States, I seen a guy at a stoplight, and he rolls down his window and throws out, doesn't give, just throws out some money onto the sidewalk. And they were doing a sting operation, had a cop dressed up as a bum, and to people that were giving to panhandlers, they were throwing out tickets. And I was like, guys,
holy shit.
Is this all you have to do in this world? Is to, it's like...
my kid at the library was giving out, like parking, like tickets. She had a bunch of change, and she was giving her change so people wouldn't get tickets, right? And a cop starts yelling and say, hey, you can't do that. And I'm like, what? I got that psycho look about me, like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you can't, that person's going to get a ticket. It's against the law for you to, pay. And I'm like, where does it say that? Show me where it says that. Well, it is against the law. All right. And I'm like, no, it isn't. It's called being nice. It's like a big deal. It's my money. It's my kids' money. They want to give, make sure that a person doesn't get a fucking ticket. I mean, I've been there where you get a ticket because you lose track of time. You don't mean to, but it's getting ridiculous. I mean, it's getting to the point they've made so many cops, they've run out of. That's why. There's. I don't think any of us are. Well, that's why colored people hate cops so much, because there's the wrong cops out there. There really is. If there were cops when I was growing up that you respected and you listened to or whatever, but now people don't give a fuck about cops. I mean, they don't. They really look at cops and they go, "You're fucking. So what? You got your law and thing for 3 years. You're a fucking cop. Any imbecile could be a cop, and that's why they're not. They're not trusted. Cops in the States, what I realized when I was down in the States, cops are looked at like used car salesmen. The same way. They're not people don't trust cops. And you just don't. When cops behave like this, again, there are good cops out there, but there are some that should not be police officers. So let's get back.
I don't know. It was just really awkward for me.
You should have punched him right in the fucking mouth.
I was like, I don't know. I was like, it was just, if you're doomed, damned if you do, damned if you don't, kind of thing. And I was like, oh well, here we go.
I said to the guy with the ticket who was giving my daughter a ticket, I go, so that thing's bulletproof, right? And he's like, well, what's that supposed to mean? I go, so like that stops bullets? He's like, well, what's that? What do you? I'm like, I don't have a gun. I'm just asking you a question. Does that stop bullets? And he's like, yeah, it stops bullets. Does it stop a bullet to your head?
Jesus
He's
Christ!
like,
You can't say that shit in America.
He's like, are you threatening me? And I'm like, no, why would I be threatening you? I'm asking you a legitimate question. Does a bullet stop you in the head? If it hits you in the fucking head, right between the eyes, does it stop? Will you die? And he just drove away. And my daughter's like, Dad, your temper's really bad. And I'm like, sweetie, I hate people.
Never would have guessed that, Vito.
Anyways, who wants to see me beat the shit out of Campbell?
I'm getting pretty pumped, man. There's a lot of hype about it.
Well, if he buys me a ticket, I'll go to Puerto Rico and beat the living piss out of him in front of him. And I'll videotape it. And if anybody wants to come, I told him I want to videotape it because I want to share it. Because I like sharing stuff like that. So back to the alien thing here. How many people here believe that, 1 out of every 10 guys enjoys an anal probe?
I think it might actually be higher than that. I think it's only 1 in 10 that are willing to admit it.
Yeah, I know. I've been watching a lot of porn lately, right? and just, I'll throw this out there. I've never seen so many guys getting, it's like, before it was like, sex. And then now it's like guys getting done in the ass. And I'm like, so aren't you gay? And by a girl, right?
Yeah,
I'm
pegging.
Like,
yeah.
Aren't you gay? Yeah, they call it pegging. And I'm like, aren't you gay? And I talked to the guy.
I'm pretty sure.
And the guy goes, the guy goes, no, I'm not gay. He's like, and I'm like, well, you're kind of having,
Getting a phallus in your ass.
Yeah. So that would make you gay, right? And it was confusing. The guy was like, no, I'm not a fag. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you are. You're a big fag. I mean, my neighbor's a lesbian, and she's like, she would do her ex-boyfriend all the time, and she would sit there, and the ex-boyfriend would be like, she would go, aren't you gay? And he's like, no, I'm not gay. I just want you to hit me with a strap on. Hey, Jay, what are you doing tomorrow? Nothing. Listen, do you mind coming over? We're not going to do anything gay. I bought this giant dildo. It's a strap on. It's kind of like a belt.
It's totally heterosexual.
You're gonna, well, let's call it fun football, okay? So, listen, I'm gonna be on one side of the room, and you're gonna be at the other side of the room, and you're gonna run at me. My pants are gonna be off. We could take turns. It's not gonna be all fun for me, okay? We're not gonna be fags, okay? There's nothing gay about it. It's fun.
This is just friends with benefits, that's all. It's just friends with benefits.
Yeah, that's it. And if you want me to do that to you, you just say so. If I'm having too much fun screaming and yelling, saying, get that giant cock out of my ass, that's code. That's me having fun. I don't know. The world is fucked up, kids. I mean, it truly is.
Yeah, who are the fundamentalist Christians that think that gays are causing climate change?
Well, guys that don't believe that they're gay.
Well, it's people like
no joke. There's a group of fundies in America that think that gays are the reason for global warming.
It's like,
well, yeah,
because it's been parodied in the Pastafarian movement.
It's people like Pat Robertson and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, but Rastafarians really don't like gay. They're like the mob.
No, Pastafarians.
I don't know what are Pastafarians.
Oh, they worship the flying spaghetti monster.
Yes, FSM. I couldn't remember the.
It's a joke religion. It's a joke religion. It's so that they can wear. They're allowed to wear for their driver's license picture. Get this.
A colander.
A colander, Vito. A fucking spaghetti stringer.
It's a great trolling religion.
It is.
There was a guy in jail that tried to sue the state, I think, to get permission to pray in whatever way Pastafarians are supposed to pray. But a judge ruled that Pastafarianism is not a real religion.
I don't think they can do that, really.
I don't think they can either. I think that's a violation of the Constitution.
I think it's probably something where they're like they only recognize registered religions or something.
No, I heard that. I'm not trying to be funny. That they built, and this is in the States. I couldn't believe it. Who told me this? They built in a courthouse because the Satanists wanted their own statue.
Yeah.
So they built a statue of Satan.
Yeah. It was in response to the fundamentalist Christians wanting to put the Ten Commandments in front of the courthouse, the Supreme Courthouse.
Oh man, now I don't believe in Satan, but that would scare the shit out of me.
Well, that was the point. They do the same thing seemingly a lot in Florida. You would have churches go to colleges and high school grounds, and they would try to pass out Bibles. So the Satanic Church decided to start handing out Satanic Bibles, because if it's okay for this church to do it, then why can't they do it? And then the church stopped.
Right.
It's like,
because I would be in court going, listen, I got a $400 fucking ticket from this cocksucker right over here, and 2 points, and he's wearing a bulletproof vest, but nobody's noticed the 16-foot unicorn standing outside with the horns. No one here. I'm the only logical one here, and I'm gonna get pegged tonight by my buddy Jay.
Strategic game of joust.
Yes.
That's a euphemism now. We'll just call it
here's the thing, right?
jousting.
This is.
That's
Can you imagine in the old days that's what they did?
It might be.
Do you imagine building a time machine? Seeing the two guys on horses riding them backwards?
Yeah, but see, I wouldn't come back and tell people. I would just it would be like an inside joke.
No.
Because nobody would believe you. You'd be like, King Arthur would get pegged. You know that, right?
On a horse.
Guinevere would nail him, literally. Yes, on it was Guinevere. Lancelot was a flamer and a half. You know
those old jousting competitions when they said they tipped the joust with sugar. That's not what that meant.
Oh, you know what? There's a lot of people that were listening to this about an hour ago. They were like going, you know what? They're talking about demons, and they're talking about, and it's Matt Slick, and he's like, this is right up my alley. And then all of a sudden he comes back to this, and it's pegging, and he's like, ooh, this is right up my alley.
I don't know who the hell's watching this anyway.
What the fuck was I going to tell you? It was something to do with this guy. Just tell me this, right? Guy's I interviewed him, and he wants me to interview him again, but I really don't want to, because it's not really he's a male porn star, but he has sex with transsexuals, right? Now, to me, a transsexual that still has a penis is just a guy with makeup.
Yeah,
so
traps are gay. You can ask Count Dankula. He already set the record straight. Traps are total.
He doesn't think he's gay, because I go, aren't you gay? And he's like, no.
He's in denial.
I'm making love to women. And I'm like, you're making love to a guy with makeup.
Yeah, it's not a chick with a dick, it's a dude with tits.
Yeah, and that's how I felt. And I go, that's cool if that's what you want. But
yeah, definitely.
You're not having sex with a woman. You're having sex with a guy. Because if you ever see any of the people that you've had sex without any makeup on, they're ugly dudes.
Well, the point is who gives a shit as long as you're attracted to them and you find them attractive and they turn you on. Who gives a crap?
Yeah, but it's still a dude. Like, it's still like I like, I'm not. But to me, I just thought, I was talking to him about it, and he was like, "No, I'm not gay," and I'm like, "But you're having sex with a man,"
Okay.
and they're like, "No, it's a girl. It's
Get down. Next time it happens, Vito, get down to brass tacks. Say, hey, do you play with a penis while you're having sex with that person?
Yeah.
Do you sit there?
Mean. Yeah.
Do you sit there and just totally ignore the fact that there's a penis? No, you probably even suck it. So get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. You're not gay.
Penis.
It's a girl penis. Bullshit. There's no such thing as a girl penis. And I'm gay, so don't. I'm a gay man, so don't even start with me with that shit.
There is such a thing as a girl penis. If there are weightlifters that and look it up, Google it. Look it up. I feel like Cenk Uygur, or whenever he's doing a debate.
Fuck Cenk Uygur.
Google it.
Fuck Cenk.
And then you Google it, and it's just completely wrong. It's full of shit. You're like, what a fucking idiot.
Fucking Cenk Uygur, girl penis. That fits though. Hey.
He would make one of the ugliest trannies on the planet.
He's one of the ugliest people on the planet. What are you talking about?
He makes fucking camels attractive. Have you ever seen a camel? And you thought you are one of the ugliest animals that ever walked the planet?
He doesn't just make camels attractive. He makes camel toes attractive.
Yes.
Well, did you guys hear about the controversy in, I think it was the United Arab Emirates, for their camel pageant?
They have a what?
They have a camel pageant in the Middle East.
Oh my God!
I'm not sure if
I swear to God, no wonder they beat their women in buildings.
Yeah, they're not allowed to have beauty contests with women, but they do have pageants with camels. And apparently a number of people have been disqualified for using Botox on their camels.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm dead serious.
You're fucking trolling now.
What was it that somebody just did a video on it recently? I'm trying to remember who it was. If it was Sargon? Somebody on YouTube.
He's full of shit.
No. They went out, like, he covered... The video that I'm talking about on YouTube covered...
What, they put stockings on the thing and everything? Or?
No, they look like regular camels, but apparently these people have certain features that they're attracted to.
Why is it that I could see Sargon covering that too?
It was Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson interviewed... He actually brought on... I forget the name now. There's a very specific name for people who specialize in camels. I think the guy was from New Zealand or something like that, because they needed to talk to an expert for whatever reason. I can't remember who it was. I'm pretty sure that it was Sargon, but it might have been somebody else. But this was a relatively recent video. I'll find it and I'll share it with you guys. It's pretty crazy. Because the whole thing is that this is a big controversy.
Yeah, that's just disgusting. What the fuck? Have you? We go to African Lion. Jay, you know African Lion Safari. We should go when we go peg each other out there. It's a hoot. You go out there in your car, you sit there and you see these fucking lions, and they're just waiting for you to just fuck up by going. Maybe if I roll down the window, I'll get a better picture. You know, so. I had a camel walk by the window and like stop and look, and I thought, you are one of the ugliest. I wouldn't let you on the ark. I'd stop it. Like I would just go, listen, we are not. We'll let in hippos, we'll let in fat hippos, we'll even let in the gay hippos, but we will not let in these fucking disgusting looking camel. They are stupid looking animals. Just, you know what they are? They're essentially tanks. They're built like tanks. They got that goofy fucking. They get the teeth on. Have you ever seen the teeth on a camel?
Oh yeah.
Oh God, they're disgusting. And people are putting Botox on these things.
Yeah. Apparently,
man,
the bigger the lips are, the more attractive they're supposed to be.
Yeah, those guys got to get laid more. That's the problem. If you ever get, like, I went out with a crazy bride who was the best in bed, right? And it was exhausting after. And the last thing I wanted to do was, like, blow up a building, you know? So, you get laid, guys. That's all you do. Just get laid, man. And fuck the camels. No, don't fuck the camels. Forget the camels. Just move on with the camels. Like how you could find that creature. Just thinking about it makes me puke. Just a fucking disgusting looking creature. Even ostriches are ugly. An ostrich and a camel, not allowed on the Ark. We should make a list starting now. If there's going to be another flood, which animals would you allow on? Which ones we wouldn't? First two that are not allowed on: camel and Glenn Campbell, and the ostrich, and naked mole rats. You ever see those fucking ugly bastards?
How about hairless cats?
Yeah, I wouldn't allow them on either. I would just say that's just no. They're always. You ever notice they're always sitting there like in a corner smoking a cigarette, freezing?
Yeah, looking like a ball sack.
Yeah, they're just sitting there having a smoke, going, "Hey, you got a light? You got a light? Huh? You got a light?" Yeah, I wouldn't allow them. What other animal? Oh, there's a wolf eel is an ugly creature, but that's in water, so there. What other animal? God, as soon as I'm done, there's so many that. Limpets. They're lampids. You ever see those things? They got like they're like snake-like, and they attach themselves onto other animals. No, I'm serious. They're called limpets or something.
Limpets?
Yeah. They're like they honestly look like something from Aliens.
Oh, are they like a slug with a bunch of teeth?
Yes.
Kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I do know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
Lampreys? I think they're called lampreys?
Yeah, that's it. So though they'd be gone. Yeah, so I mean I wouldn't I would just have I like gazelles. Lions are cool. Tigers.
Well, here's my
Bears.
thing. You got the Ark, right? You got this guy who's
I wouldn't let Moses on.
in charge of the Ark, Noah, right? He's the one.
Noah. Yeah, I wouldn't let Noah on.
He's the guy who's making the decision who's allowed on, who's not. Why does he let all these fucking things that are nasty to people, like fucking mosquitoes? Why in the fuck would you let mosquitoes on the Ark?
Well, they snuck on. There were like a couple of they snuck on. They're mosquitoes. They're sniveling. You've seen mosquitoes. They're sniveling little fucking disgusting creatures.
Right.
And they should not have been allowed on. Them and who else? What else? You ever see those goon duckies? Goon duck?
I have no idea what that is.
Looks like a penis with a shell. It's called a goon duck. A goon duck. They are the most disgusting looking animals. I wouldn't let them on, but they live in water, so I don't know. So I don't think that would matter. I wouldn't let on those turkey vultures. They're not because I think they have a purpose, but just not on this planet. They just got that turkey vultures. Just the name, like pick one. You know what I mean? Turkey vulture. You're not allowed on, so you're done.
Yeah, we actually have a lot of those around here. We call them turkey buzzards.
Turkey buzzards. You know what? Who's really smart? Tom Waite. He's really, really smart, and he told a story on Letterman once. You know what a dead ringer is, and he would know like these really cool things. You know what a dead ringer is? Where the term dead ringer comes from?
No.
Dead ringer comes from, in the olden days when people would die, sometimes they would be so sick, they would be close to death, and people were worried that they were going to be buried alive. Because sometimes when they for whatever reason, they brought the body back up, they realized that the person was alive because they scratched the shit out of, you know, you could imagine what a horrible fucking death, waking up in a coffin 6 feet under, right? So, yeah, a dead ringer was a guy that they would pay, and they used to, from your coffin, it would cost extra, but they would attach a little string going all the way to a bell, and a guy would sit at a you know, not a funeral home, at the cemetery all night. He would sit in the cemetery in his lawn chair going, man, I need a better job. But he would sit there, and if he heard a ringing, he would run over with his shovel and he would dig you out. And
oh yeah, right, because they were very poor at being able to tell when a person was actually deceased.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's where the word dead ringer comes from. Isn't that cool?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's
that
a little scary. It's a little morbid, but
yeah, that would suck, man. Waking up.
The etymology makes sense.
Yeah, that is a cool little. I didn't know. Tom Waite is a very smart man. So he's been in a lot of movies. That guy. Remember when he was in Bram Stoker's vampire movie? He played the crazy master, like Igor. He would eat bugs.
Oh, he played he played the guy in the insane asylum that got caught first, Mr. Renfield.
Yes, that's right. And he went completely nuts. He was great in that movie.
Yeah.
He was a good actor. All right, well, I got to take a piss, so
we've been going for 2 hours anyway.
All right, well, let's all right, so what's the moral of the story?
The moral of the story
aliens are not demons?
Yes. Are aliens getting pegged by demons?
They are if they're on South Park.
Yes. Yes, of course. Of course they would. And why wouldn't they? I mean, we all deserve a good pegging. You know. Wouldn't you love to see a preacher just lose it once and just go all like Oral Roberts and 700 people and do the whole, just start talking about, it was written in, blah, 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 that good pegging is every man deserves a good pegging.
It's good for the soul.
Good for the soul. And the wife's like, ooh, I can't wait to get you home. And you're nervous. You're like, oh, this sucks. This fucking sucks. Should have been. I wish I was a Jew. So what have we learned? Are people just crazy? What do you guys think?
Well, I think Red and I actually came to a similar conclusion when we talked with Siki and Iseth on her hangout, that there's obviously alternate explanations for these things. The video, which unfortunately we couldn't play because that would have been really neat, and I'm going to talk to some people and see if I can figure out why I can't get the audio from the video out. It'd be really nice if we could just do it on a hangout, because a hangout would be, but I digress. But there's alternate explanations for these things. Like I honestly think Siki is having some kind of seizure or mental problem. He says another person saw it, but he never brought that person forward to confess that person did indeed see it. So
see what?
These orbs of light.
Oh, the orbs of light are simple. They're
it could be
actually dust.
Or epileptic seizures or something. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, the guys did a test on it. They were debunking this stuff, and they actually...
No, this wasn't captured on a camera. This was something he claims he saw with his eyes.
Yeah.
He claims that it was a red orb. First, he watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos on it, and then went outside to try to summon a UFO by waving a flashlight in the sky for 2 months straight.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, eventually you're gonna see some shit if you keep trying. I mean,
especially after flashing a flashlight in your eyes.
exactly.
It's going to be an airline pilot going, "Oh, watch this fuckhead. He's been out here for 2 months. Put on our masks and just freak him out. We're going to go and we're going to go peg him." So, there's a guy that I forgot to mention. Have you guys ever heard of a guy named David? I can't pronounce his last name. It starts Icke.
Eichmann?
That's it. He believes in lizard people or something?
Yes, I have heard about this dude. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure he's a fan of Alex Jones and has been on his show, and Alex might even take some cues from him.
Yeah, like I like Alex Jones because I believe everybody deserves an Alex Jones.
Alex Jones is a derp lulz cow. I love him. He's hilarious.
He's fucking funny. I'm sorry. He's like, I think he's I think, people are kind of, mean to him. And I'm like, you know what? If you don't agree with him, who cares? But he has a right to say whatever he wants. And if it's far-fetched, it's far-fetched. But you know what? He's that guy that you wish, at Christmas. He sits there and he tells you these fucked up stories about, the way the government works and crazy stuff where you're just going, Uncle's crazy, but I love him. I absolutely love him. And he's got these way out there theories, but some of the stuff that, he talks about, the whole shit about Trump. When he was talking about when Trump was being listened to, I thought, no, he wasn't. And it turns out he was. So it was like, what? How did he know? How did he know? So some stuff he is right on, and some stuff he's, not. But
whether he's right or wrong, he's always hyperbolic. It's always, it's the end of the world, the sky is falling, because that's how he gets his viewership.
He sells fear, right?
Well, he sells pills.
Yes, that's it.
He literally sells pills, so he's got to make people afraid.
I love it. Like, that's the thing, right? He's like, this shit here, you know what? The other stuff is garbage, but this stuff here, it'll fucking keep you up for 72 hours. It is absolutely fantastic. This will make you live to be 142. He's a perfect salesman. Like, that's who you want. You want somebody that you just know. I would buy it because I know it's bullshit. But just to have him say, thank you, and have him say my name. I would just buy anything off of him just to have him, just to talk to him, because I just think he's a character. I think the world needs more characters like that.
I sent a link in the side chat, David. If you still have OBS open, you might want to play that little clip, since we were just talking about Alex Jones. The audience at least would hear it in the video.
Okay. And is it him yelling about the frogs?
I think he does mention that, but that's not really what the video is about.
How long is it?
It's like 3 minutes.
Okay.
Try and
48 seconds. Never mind, it's 48 seconds.
Yeah, try and play it.
Okay, well, let me pull
like
it.
Having sex.
Let me pull it up here and get
That's
it
what
set
she
up
said.
here. Oh, it's one of those? Okay, that's fine. I got no problems with that.
And share your screen so that everybody in the Hangout can at least see it.
Will do.
Do I press screen share?
Let me get into the right one so that I can get it out on the stream too. Because, they deserve to see it. Let me get that transitioned over.
I would watch Alex Jones every day if every show looked like this. Every day.
Oh, is it when he's drinking champagne and loving it when Trump won? Was it that one?
No.
No.
He
This
was
is
gloating like a fucking...
so much better. This is so much better.
Oh my god. He is...
Alright, you gotta present David.
You gotta present me.
I'm sorry. Fuck. Hold on. Okay. I did.
There we go.
And here goes the audio to the audience.
What do I do, Lord? Destroy the child. Corrupt them all. This is their plan, people. These are demons. And buck the system and the group collective. Do that.
Oh, Jesus. I know a bouncer that looks like that.
This is the info war. I came knocking on your door a million times, and you laughed at me. More blood on the other side.
He's
Basically,
awesome.
space aliens. I'm an explorer.
He looks like Rush
I'm a
Limbaugh.
human, and I'm coming. And I'm not gonna go along with it.
This is the frog bit.
A
No.
Gujadumarong battle.
Yeah, I think he does mention it.
Oh, he's gold. Where the fuck JJ go? Gotta head to bed, boys. What a fuck. I hate it when he just doesn't... I just wanted to wish him a good night and give him a kiss. I mean...
But yeah, let's reschedule this to actually watch this video because I am interested in just seeing what's being presented. And I honestly, a lot of that kind of stuff I just can't go watch by myself.
What,
I need it to be filtered.
Does it freak you out? Because sometimes...
No, actually it just pisses me off. Like, I can't watch Flat Earth videos directly. I have to watch someone else watching it. Because if I'm just watching it, then I want to respond to it, but they can't hear me, you know, and all I can do is leave some comment after the fact, and it's very unsatisfying.
Well, I always invite my friend over, my neighbor, and he's from England, and he's always like, "What crazy shit you got me watching now?" And I'm like, "Just watch this, like you gotta," and he's like, "You watch the most messed up shit," and I'm like, "I have to watch this because I have no interest in watching the Oscars or." I don't know if I'm getting too old, but I'm not into movies anymore. I got to take my son to go see Black Panther tomorrow, and I told him, we're probably going to get in trouble because we're not black. And he doesn't get it, and his favorite character is Black Panther. He dressed up for Halloween as Black Panther. and I want him to just go see the movie because I think it's a cool character. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I do too.
So it's like all this bullshit just makes me sick. And my son, I don't want him to see any of that crap. I just want him to have fun, enjoy the movie, and but I'm getting to the point where I have no interest in watching movies. I love watching documentaries. Yeah, so I love stuff like this. I enjoy it because I don't know why it just makes me think. Now, is there another dimension? I mean, they say there's the fifth dimension or whatever, and I don't think so, but it's still entertaining. It's very entertaining.
Well,
so
I'll do my best to get this shit figured out, and hopefully, I mean, we could do this from a hangout on your channel too. I mean, yeah, it's something you could do too. I think from a Macintosh, you should be able to.
Well, I got it on my Mac. I've got a Mac, so I should have no problem. I'll Google it and see what the fuck. There must be a way of doing it.
Yeah, the other approach would be to make me like what Steve did for me on the Great Debate Community channel. But let's talk offline real quick. Anyway, do you want to end it? Do you want to end it?
Yes, let's end it.
Chat.
All right, so yeah, well, end it by saying your name and say your name and just thank you for coming aboard. So go on. Red, go on and...
I'm Real Every Day. You can find me on YouTube. I will be putting out more videos soon showing the curvature of the Earth for any flat earthers that might happen upon this. I appreciate the invite.
Oh no,
Been
and
a
I.
good chat.
Well, thank you so much for showing up. You know, it was very. We were worried no one was going to show up to this piece of shit. So, we really appreciate it. So
It's been fun.
I'm glad to meet you.
You as well.
So thank you so much, Red. And David, anything you want to plug?
Nothing much. Just thanks for the opportunity to test the equipment. Hopefully we can work out the kinks some more and get this ironed out, not only for your podcasts, but for mine, because mine's coming up soon too. I'll be making more videos. You can find me under Booleaninator. The podcast name is going to be Prove It. And we'll go from there. My partner now has legit internet on my account, so.
Well,
Looking forward to it.
Well, I want to say thank you, David, for helping me out with this. I wanted to try something different, and I wanted to have a discussion with having several people on, and I really wish we could have played that video, because I wanted that would have been cool, just to have something different, you know. And I plan on doing more of these, so you know, leave a comment if there's anything that you want to see more of, or any discussion, or you want to be part of the discussion. Message me, and you know, you can come on the show, and we could have a discussion about whatever topic we pick, and we're going to try and get this back on. I think the next one we'll do is we'll try and do the whole debunking the show of Ancient Aliens Debunked, which is I think it'll be like a 6 or 7 part series, because it's over 3 hours, and I think we should only really do a show for about an hour, and in between that hour we could show a little bit of the footage and try and debunk it and have a discussion about it. And I think it's important, all joking aside, if we don't speak and we don't talk, we get nowhere. You know, if we don't get anywhere, then, you know, it's 2018. We haven't grown as a species. We're still, you know, we're gonna end up fucking dumb. So, without further ado, I'm Vito D'Amico. Thank you so much, and you know, join us again. Take care, guys. Be good to yourselves.
Good night, all.
See
Good
you.
night.